2 to 3 times a year I'm engaged as an expert in copyright infringement. And there's something like only a handful of us that do this in the United States. And it's a fascinating field. It's something that a composer comes to naturally or a musicologist comes to naturally because it involves essentially comparison of musical excerpts, musical scores, something that we've spent decades learning to perfect. And so I'm frequently asked for an opinion about the first of all, the protectable expression in one person's music and how it compares to a potentially infringing work from somebody else. It's a fascinating field. It's a field that is a little bit difficult for the legal world because you don't often have combined skills of law and music, although more and more now you do see lawyers specializing in music copyright infringement, and they do have musical training. But for the most part, the lawyers rely on us to do the full musical interpretation of exactly how piece A compares to piece B. When I'm asked to give an opinion, I have been asked by both sides with equal frequency. The defendant, the plaintiff. The plaintiff is, of course, claiming that a particular work, let's call it work B, as I said, has copied a significant portion of their work, so that it's up to me to decide whether or not the portion that has been copied is, in fact, what we call legally significant, and that is actually a term that is used in copyright infringement, that the similarities rise to a level of significance. If so, I'm asked for advice on whether or not to proceed to the level of suit, to filing a suit, and exactly give them essentially the musical basis for doing so. On the defendant side, it's of course exactly the opposite. Somebody says, well, somebody is claiming that something I wrote is infringing their work. And I'd never seen their work, I had nothing to do with it, I don't know anything about it, and somehow they do sound similar, what do I do about this? And so it is then up to me to determine the genesis of where that idea came from, again, how similar it is to the work that is claiming infringement, and on what level that may be musically defensible. Sometimes it can come down to something as simple as, does that idea exist in prior art? And if it does, to what extent? So that in that case, an idea may not be legally protectable. If it's so basic to music that it really occurs all over, you can't really copyright that. So first, in order to protect it, it has to be what we call unique or creatively unique, so that, yeah, that's an idea that is unique to that particular work, so that, first of all, you can protect it with copyright. And then, secondly, there's an access issue. Did that person have an opportunity to actually hear that work so that they could have heard it and copied it? And was that intentional? Was it not intentional? Or is it so vague that perhaps, well, you know, it's not really copying, it's influence, you know, that type of thing. So it gets down to all levels. And ultimately, copyright infringement is federal. It goes into federal court and it goes in front of a jury. So everything comes down to, can a jury hear it? Can a jury not hear it? So a lot of my job can be based around, how do I clarify this to the layman? How do I use examples that will essentially tell the jury what I'm trying to get them to hear or get them to see. It's a fascinating field, and I enjoy it. I have the luxury of taking only those cases that I feel strong about, because it is not my primary focus. My primary focus is as a composer, of course, but I do enjoy it, and I sometimes, as a composer, enjoy sort of being the white knight, if you will, in terms of protecting their rights. So it feels good sometimes to be able to do that.